Probably don't need to pretend that you're using that. I get out of here, dude. I'm not going to talk to you.
You're not going to talk to me?
No, go talk to... Hang on, where did those guys go? Go talk to the bearded guy sitting down.
What about... I just want to find out, you think the wall is against... like, it's a boycott wall, don't you?
It's a boycott wall?
Yeah, it's not a boycott, it's a sort of like apartheid wall, isn't it?
Well, it's a wall that's illegal under international law. It's called an apartheid wall because it cuts through Palestinian villages, separates them from their farmland, digs right into the West Bank, and basically annexes land.
Right. You don't think it's effective at keeping out bombers and suicide bombers and other people like that?
It might be, but if they wanted to do it within international law, they should have built it along the Green Line, right? The actual internationally recognised borders.
Right.
That would have been fine. That would have been no problem. You build a wall as high as you like along there. The problem is, what they did is, rather than doing that, they actually built it into the Palestinian territories and took land with it. That's what the issue is.
Right. Because they have checkpoints and stuff to check on people, I suppose.
Yeah.
Taking bombs in or something like that.
There are a series of checkpoints, not only on that wall in particular, but just throughout the West Bank and East Jerusalem.
Okay. Have you ever seen any of these over Al-Quds Day?
Al-Quds Day?
Yeah, and there's a march that's been happening for a couple of years in London about boycotting Israel and stuff like that. So do you know what they're on about or not?
Well, I know that Al-Quds is Jerusalem. Right. But otherwise, I mean, I can tell you what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
What people are doing in London, you'll have to ask what people are doing in London.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay, but it's sort of all mixed up, seems. Like a lot of people want to boycott Israel for different reasons, don't they? Sort of.
Well, this is still part of what's called the BDS campaign, right? And there's three... G'day. How are you going? There's three aims of this, right? These are the reasons. Right. This is what it's trying to achieve in this boycott. One of them is dismantling the wall and ending the settlements. If they want to build a wall along the Green Line, no problem. Right. If they want to do settlements within Israel proper, no problem. But the problem is when they steal land. That's what the issue is. So that's one. The second one is actually having equal rights for Arab-Israeli citizens. So about 10% of the population of Israel is Arab. That's Israel proper, not the occupied territories, is Arab. And they don't have the same rights that the Jewish Israeli citizens do. So that's what the second one is, asking for equal rights for them. And then the third one is basically facilitating the return of a lot of the refugees in Lebanon, Syria and the surrounding countries so that they can actually come back into the West Bank, East Jerusalem, Gaza, the occupied territories. Right. So that's what the three things are. That's what the aim is.
Oh, okay. You're aware of some of the rights in the Muslim countries, they have different sort of rights to different people, like perhaps not as free as Israel, though, of course, there's I suppose it's a different sort of anyway.
True. If you want to, this comes up a fair amount. And basically what I say to people is, if you want to organise, talk about rights in Saudi Arabia, talk about rights in Iran or whatever, do so. Right. What I would suggest is, this in particular, the reason that we're able to be here and talk to the public and stuff is because these guys, the cosmetics store is actually directly tied to Israel-Palestine issue. Yeah. I don't know whether there's a store here that's directly tied to, say, the Syrian regime or something. I'm not sure. If there was, go and protest them. That would be no problem. But as far as, so that's the kind of practical answer. The answer in principle is, it may be terrible or whatever. I don't know, we're talking about it in quite vague terms. But, that doesn't actually justify, bad things happening in Israel as well, right? I mean, if bad stuff is happening in Israel, if people's homes are being destroyed, if their land is being taken from them, you can't really say, well, I'm able to do that because bad stuff is happening in the next country. I mean, it's certainly not a legal argument, right? I mean, you know, if you've been charged with some sort of crime or something, you can't really say, well, you know, yeah, I did it, but other bad stuff happens in the world too. And I wouldn't, I mean, morals are a bit hard because, you know, everybody has their own take, but I certainly wouldn't take it as any kind of moral argument, right? I mean, it's known colloquially as passing the buck, right? So instead of, you know, trying to deflect attention from myself, or, you know, well, deflect attention from Israel in this case, right? Saying, oh, well, you know, there's bad stuff happening everywhere, it's unfortunate, what are you going to do? You know, it's just a part of the world. Well, the whole point of this is you can actually do something about this particular issue because there are companies that profit from it. I mean, you know, if you take the Syria example again, I'm not sure that there are you know, institutions that are operating in Australia that actually have strong ties to the Syrian regime.
Everybody's tied to places like Iran, because Iran supports Hezbollah and everything, because a lot of oil comes from different regions like that, doesn't it?
Sure, you mean a lot of oil comes from Iran?
I'm guessing a lot of areas in the Middle East, don't they? Sort of. Well, I'm not sure about Iran or maybe Syria, I don't know. Iraq has a certain amount, doesn't it?
Yeah. Iran certainly. Saudi Arabia, Iraq, a lot of the other countries. I'm not entirely sure about Jordan, Lebanon. You know what their economy is based on, but certainly Saudi Arabia is economy, and Kuwait, and the Arab Emirates are based on oil, and Iran is also based on oil to a large extent. I'm not entirely sure what that has to do with Israel, though.
Well, you're saying like because you want to boycott Israel, and you could boycott other countries, you know, if you don't like how the treatment of women or perhaps I don't know, you know, gays or whatever.
Sure.
So yeah. So anyway, but
well, I hope I tried to get across a practical and a in principle answer to that. I mean, look, if there are you know, if there are some sort of company here or something, and you could say, oh, well, you know, this company is somehow tied to the treatment of women in Iran or something, and you wanted to start a picket like this, that would be fantastic. And you would probably get quite good responses from the general public. I'm not aware of that actually existing though.
Yeah. Okay.